Hey, what is up guys, T-Burrows here. Today, I've got a little thumbnail tutorial, how I make my thumbnails and how I do all that jazz. This is in Photoshop. I'm also going to be making another tutorial on probably the easiest way to get Photoshop. And yeah, so that's that, and now let's get started. You don't need much, but before I start here, I just want to tell you that you're going to want to have a lot of gradients. I mean, as you can see, I have a lot of gradients here. Also, you're gonna want what's called paintbrush stocks. So I got a bunch of different ones, mostly like, I don't know, not like textures, but you can have textures and stuff if you want. But I don't have that much different ones. I have a few here and there that I like to use in my thumbnails. Anyways, that's beyond the point. Let's get right into it. First, what you're gonna do, obviously, is File, New. If you've never used Photoshop before, a thumbnail is the dimensions. The width is 1280, height 720. Press OK. And this is your basis for your thumbnail. Now, this is what your thumbnail size is going to be. And of course, on mobile devices and like whenever it's actually showing up on YouTube, it's going to be smaller. But this is how you actually want to create it in Photoshop. So the first thing I like to do is make a new layer. But first of all, there's a bunch of different ways that you can make this style of thumbnails. Excuse me. One way that I also like to do it is, say I'm doing a Call of Duty video. Say I was playing Carrier Black Ops 2. Let's find just a quick image of Carrier or something. So we got a picture of Carrier here, and this is actually 1920 by 1080. You want to make sure you find a picture that is big enough. So say you can't find a picture like this, because when you stretch it out, it will be all blurry. So you don't want a really small picture like, say, this. I'll show you what happens whenever you try to put this in Photoshop and stretch it out. Press Control V and put it in the bottom corner. You stretch it out, and then it gets all blurry and weird looking, all distorted. So you don't want that. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a big enough picture, so probably either this one or this one. I'm just going to go with this one, I guess. So you're going to want to go to Copy, Image, or you can save it if you want, but I like to copy it so I don't have to save it. Control V, Control T to press to transform your size. Hold Shift and move it down so it's not as big. Keep holding Shift, moving it down. Okay. Put one end in the corner, make sure it's lined up. Hold Shift, stretch it out, and you're good. So now you have that. That's perfectly aligned to the square. And now you can move this layer with the actual picture of the map or whatever you put there under this layer, under the first layer. And this first layer is what you're going to want your gradient on. And of course, you don't need... I'm sorry, no, you don't want to move that actually. Actually, I'm sorry. You don't need to have one of these little map things. As you can see, one of my most recent ones, I'm pretty sure I didn't have a map in it, because yeah, I didn't. This one was just it had a gradient, and then it had that paintbrush stock that came in, the text, and the little elves and me there. So same with these. As you can see, these have the little map that was a standoff map. That's just a part of the live stream, so I took it from there. This is also Carrier, as you can see in the background there. So you don't need this map thingy, but it's recommended for Call of Duty videos and such. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to load the opacity of the actual map, or, you know, little picture. And then after you do that, go to your first layer, click on your gradient tool, and select the gradient. Gradients I usually like to do are just a solid color. I mean, you can use 2-color gradients, of course, but I like to use a solid color usually. So I think I'll go with this purple and pink mixture. You're going to want to go from one corner to the other. There you go, you got your little gradient there. And you might want to turn the picture opacity down a little more. It's about good. And this is where it starts to get a little more fun after you have the whole background thing. One little thing that I like to do, like right when I'm doing this, is I like to get my rectangle tool. I like to go up to the top left corner, make sure those little dots on the crosshair thing, is what I call it, are like, they make a little box in the corner. Click and drag across the whole thing till it's about equal in the other corner. That's not exactly equal, so I'm going to press Control, hit right on my arrow key so I can move it over a little more. That's about good. Get rid of this, and then since it's green because I didn't change my foreground color, I'm going to go into blending options, right click, blending options. You're going to want to go to color overlay, make color black. After you make the color black, you want to lower the opacity a lot, actually, probably about 12, maybe less, and then that gives you just this little box effect, and it makes a little outline a little more bright and such. After that, new layer down in the bottom right, and this is going to be either your text or say it's a trick shotting video. If you make a trick shotting video, I already have one saved. You can have like a DSR reloading, so all you need to do to find a picture of that is just type in DSR reloading on Google. You'll find one really easily, and you don't have to cut it out or anything. It's already got a transparent background and such. So you're gonna take that, put it into Photoshop, put it over your thumbnail, press Control T to allow it to move, hold Shift, move it down, make it about that size, I guess you could put it, and put it into the corner. One thing you could do, I don't like doing it though, press Control T, and then you can flip it horizontal, and you can put it in this corner if you really wanted to, or you know, you could like put it in like the top corner or something, flip it horizontal again, you can put it in this corner. A bunch of different things you could do, obviously, but I like to just keep it in this corner, and if I do ever move it, I like to put it like this in that corner. So yeah, that's that. Put it in that corner. We're gonna leave that alone for now, and we're gonna move on to the text, because the text is one of the most important parts. The text is where a lot of people can actually mess up, and I'm just gonna change my color here of the text to about pinkish. But the text you can do in many different styles. I like to do my text usually in 2 different fonts, because that looks nicer to me, and I won't have them both colored. So my first font that I like to use is called SF Slapstick Comic Regular. So I'll just click that, I'll go to my text tool, make a box, and I'll type in, I guess I'll make this the tutorial, or the thumbnail for this tutorial. So I'll put thumbnail, and I'll just type thumbnail with that. And then what I'll do after that is I'll move, oh whoops, wrong layer. I'll move the text layer, but I don't really like that pink, so I'm going to blending options, color overlay, and I guess I'm going to make that white actually, because then I'm going to add another text under it that says tutorial. So the 3 blending options that I like to use: bevel and emboss, stroke, and drop shadow. I'm going to show you all 3 of my settings for this. Color overlay is always optional for me, but I usually do it just to change the color. Bevel and emboss, you're going to keep everything the same, except the def, you're probably going to change to about 35. Oh, whoops, don't press enter on that. And then after you get your bevel and emboss about 35, stroke stays the same, unless you want your outline a little bit thicker on that, which I don't. Also, another thing you could do is you could change it to white, turn the opacity down, and it kind of makes it like show up of the actual background. As you can see, you can make that a little bigger there so you can see it shows up the background. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's a cool little thing you can do. I think I'm gonna keep it like that actually, so about 20 opacity, 23 opacity. Drop shadow, keep everything the same, opacity 75, except the distance you're gonna want to put up to 12. After that, you press enter, close that, so you have one text done. Then you're going to want to start with your new text. What I like to do is I like to put 2 fonts, as I said, so I'll go down until I find my other font called True Lies Regular, and I'll write tutorial. I still don't like that pink, so I'm going to change that in a moment here. Make sure You can have these either way you want. I like usually the second text over the first text, but you can put the first text over the second text, as you can see. So that's your opinion there. So I'm gonna put bevel and emboss, stroke, and drop shadow on there. But first I'm gonna go to color overlay and probably change this to a little more subtle pink instead of not so bright and obnoxious. We'll go with something around there. That looks good. Bevel and emboss, like I said, you want to change it to 35. Drop shadow, change it to 12. Distance 12. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry, I messed up on the stroke. My bad. I'm gonna go back to stroke. Change the color white. About opacity about 23, I think I had on the other one. And yeah, size went up a little too. Probably like right there. 5. So then this is one of the most important parts because we are going to be transforming or warping the text, and you cannot warp a text unless it's rasterized. So you're going to want to click on the thumbnail text or on whatever you put it there. Click on your first text, hold shift, click on your second text, right click, rasterize type right there. What I like to do is I like to create a new group, drag both of these text into the one group, close the group, and then after you close the group, press Ctrl T, bring up your transform option, and now you have both of these little text layers in one that you control as one. So right click, perspective, and this is where it's all personal preference. Like some videos, if you drag it up and down, it'll go back, or if you drag it a little more down, it'll go forward, or you can drag it side to side, it'll go up like this, back like that. You know, there's so much variety you could do. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could if you really wanted to. There's so much variety you could do, and you know, stuff that you can actually do with the text to make it look like a really nice thumbnail. So I'm gonna make it raise up a little, and I'm gonna make it go back a little. That looks good. If I could raise it up a little more. Okay. After that, apply the transformation. Then you're going to want to press Ctrl T again. Hold Shift. Make your text a little bigger if it's necessary, but I'm going to do it because this text was a little small. And press Enter. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm probably forgetting something. Yes, I am. Never mind. Sorry. That's not it. Create 2 new layers. Your first layer, what you're going to want to do is, this is optional, but I like to do it. You're going to want to go to your paintbrush tool and click on a brush that you can put all around your thumbnail. Oh, whoops. See, there's 2 options here. By the way, to make your brush bigger and smaller, quickly, hold Alt, right click, drag your mouse back and forth. Anyways, there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can either do individual little, I guess you could call it, like, I don't know, little paint splats, whatever, all over your thumbnail, and then turn the opacity down, like so. You might want to put the text on top of that layer too, so it doesn't go through the text. So you can have it like that. Or, what I also like to do is, since I have this paintbrush, what I'll do is I'll go here, I'll go to change my paintbrush, and I'll choose one of these little starburst effects. Whoops. And, yeah, and then after I make the little starburst effect, I'll make it a little bit bigger so it can fit on the whole screen. Just click it once. Actually, I might make it a little higher. There we go. Yeah, just click it once. That's all you gotta do. And then after that, the settings I like to do on this is also the same as all the other stuff. So bevel and emboss, stroke, drop shadow, and then color overlay, because I want this white. I don't want this. Actually, I think I might make it pink. Yeah, I'm gonna make it like some sort of pink. Make it a brighter pink. So then we're gonna go to bevel and emboss, turn it down to 35. 35, drop shadow, 12, press OK, And then you really want to turn your opacity down on this, because this is a very obvious effect. Then you're going to want to put that layer over your text. I'm sorry, under your text and under your DSR also, or your sniper, whatever you have there. And the last step you're going to want to do here is the DSR reloading. Right click, blending options, bevel and emboss, stroke, drop shadow. Basically the same exact thing for every one. So you get the point here. Drop shadow 12, bevel and emboss 35. But the one thing you can change here is you can put a satin over it, which I like to do. And I'll just turn the opacity down to like 15 or something. And yeah, that's basically a quick little rundown of how I make my thumbnails. There's obviously a bunch of different varieties you can do when you're making them. As you can see, my one that I had on the elves didn't have a DSR or anything. It just had, you know, the little elves and stuff. It didn't have the DSR. These two had the DSR because they're about trick shotting, and I just chose them because, you know, I did trick shotting. There's a bunch of different textiles, as you can see here. Kind of looks three-dimensional. There's a little Twitch logo going around, and three-dimensional-ish there. But yeah, that's basically a whole little thumbnail tutorial. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and comment. And if you want more tutorials on how I make my thumbnails, or even different thumbnail varieties, make sure to leave a comment and a like and subscribe. My name's T-Rules, and I'm out. Peace.